Hi everyone, welcome back to the craft room. Today I'm going to try my hand after 30 years at sewing again. I bought these cute little fat quarters recently. I've got some fabric that's been sitting on my shelf for about 6 to 8 years, and I thought that I would just put these together and see if I could make a fat quarter tote. We'll see how that goes. So I've watched a lot of tutorials and I can't seem to find the one that I want because I want to combine two videos that I've seen into one. I want to make it a fat quarter tote with quilting, which is basically just adding some fusible pellon on one side. And I don't know if I have the right kind for the quilting. I feel like I picked up what I had heard we use. We don't know. So these are 18 by 21. Oh, we're going to keep that. So that's pretty large. Do we need one that large? Should we fold it in half and make it? That looks weird though. I just don't like. Look at how cute they are. What about this size? Like that size would be good. Maybe a little bit longer. Yes, this is what happens when you don't pre-plan. You just go in your craft room and start trying to make stuff. Real sorry you have to watch this part. But I'm just trying. Yes, exactly. Exactly what I want. A nice square tote. That's what my OCD was wanting. So let me measure this really quick and find out what the size is. Where do the numbers start? The numbers start here. So it's 16 by 14. All right, so I'm going to cut both of these fabrics for a front panel and a back panel into 16 by 14. Let me write that down because I was trying to figure out 16 by 14 and then the liner to at 16 by 14. And then I would say the straps should be at least 4 by 14. We're going to see about that because they're going to fold over like this and it'll be a total of 7 inches high, which I think would look, having half of it the size of the height would probably be fine. And I'm trying to decide, this will be the liner, and I'm trying to decide if I want to add like a trim. I don't know. I've got to figure out sides and bottom. So I got to figure out how wide I want it to be. I would say 3 by 16 and then 2 at 3 by 14. And they may have to be different. I'm just making this up as I go. This is going to be a long video because I have no idea what I'm doing. And then the pellon, we need 2 at 16 by 14. And what I want to do is I want to create a tote, right? But I then want to come through and quilt it because I can't do anything the easy way. And just make it cute. What are we thinking? What are we thinking? So it'll probably end up being, with a 1/4 inch seam, it'll be like 15.75 by 13.75. And then these will be about 6.5, because you'll want to at least put a 1/2 inch. I might make those longer. No, because, well, yeah, they may longer. Maybe 21 inches, because I'll want to have them down further to make sure that they hold. All right, let's just try that and see what happens, right? It's $1.47 for a fat quarter at Walmart. We can go get another one if we mess it up. It's not a big deal. This is how I learn, because I don't like directions. I just do my own thing, okay? And I even have my inspirational coffee mug with way too much creamer. I don't like my coffee this light. I like it a nice deep caramel, but I added the creamer before the coffee, and here's what we have. Now I'm drinking a cup of sugar, and it's pretty disgusting. I don't add sugar to my coffee, but I use a flavored coffee creamer, and that's where the sugary taste comes from. And it's just a bit too much for me. All right, so I'm going to iron this, and then I'm going to cut it at 16 by 14 on this panel and on this panel, and those are going to be the 2 fronts. And then I'm going to cut this if I have enough. 16 by 14. Don't know that I'm going to have enough. Might have to think of something else. Pull in another fabric. We'll have to see. All right, I'm going to go off camera and cut these so you don't have to, well, I'm going to go, no, I want to bring you through every bit of this process. So this is going to be a long video. I hope you don't mind. Okay, so what I want to do is cut this 16 by 14, but I need to iron it because I don't want to miss out on 1 millimeter of these precious bunnies. So, with a needle and thread, I'm going to grab my Cricut mat that you can iron on, because obviously I do not have an iron up here. I am going to plug in my new iron, and then we're going to iron this fabric. So while I'm doing that, I am going to cut the camera off because nobody got time for that nonsense. Okay, I'll be right back and we will start ironing. All right, I am not going to add water. I have it on its little base. And I have it set to 110. We are going to turn this on. Yes, this little light is on. I know you probably can't see it. Hold on. That little light is on, telling me it's heating up. So I'm going to watch that to turn green. And while I'm doing that, I would think it's a good idea for me to figure out how much I have of this, because this is not going to be enough. I can tell you right now. So that might do the sides and the bottom. Okay. Because this one is about 24 by 12. That ain't even going to be enough to do the two sides and the bottom, because I'm going to need 28 if it's 14 inches high. Is that what I said? Yeah. I'm going to need 28. That just isn't going to work. So I can make this like my trim. I'll put this up at the top of the bag and just let it have a little trim up at the top. Maybe we'll do that. We don't know. We have a lot of ideas. We don't even know what we're doing. That is so fantastic. I'm going to go see what I have for fabric that could possibly cover the inside. All right, so here's where we are now. Well, we're nowhere without the bag. Okay, great. I have my life together now. We had to go by Walmart. We've switched from coffee to soda, which is not good, but whatever. I wanted to get some heat and bond hem adhesive for when I do my straps. So I can just iron them and then sew. And I bought 2 fat quarters. So it looks like these will be a fine color. And I bought 2 more because I realized that the fabric I was going to use was the same as this, 24 by 12 or whatever, and not going to work for an 18 by whatever I said. So I need to see. I really wanted to find like a blue. I didn't want to do a gray, but it's the only one I could find. I don't have to go with this. I can wait until I find this aqua color and do that. But right now, this is what we'll have maybe when we start this precious. So these other ones, I may use for linings in zipper pouches or something like that. So we'll just hold on to that for now. I'm going to turn this back on. We need it like right. Oh, okay, I see where that is. We need it about right there. This is iron, this is steaming. And there's a little, you can't see any of what I'm talking about. Excuse please. There's a little, nobody over 25 can see, an arrow. And so this side is the iron, this side is for steaming. You put it over here for iron, turn it this way for steam, this way for iron. Okay, great. So that's nice and hot. So I do want to iron this fabric. I don't know if I'm going to need steam or not, but we're going to try without it because less is more. We like less. Okay, it looks like we're going to have to do both sides to get all of those out. Very thirsty. I had a bad girl meal last night. I had Papa John's pizza. Very greasy, very salty, and bought a soda with it, so now I'm drinking soda just to get myself awake. And then we got to start pounding some water and get all of that grease and salt out of my body. It looks like I might have to do some steam. We're gonna try. If any of you sew out there and you know what I'm supposed to be doing, you just leave that in the comments, because I mean, I've done this before, and we didn't have any internet and YouTube. Well, we probably did, but I didn't know anything about any YouTubes back then. And I went out and bought a pattern and cut it out, and then I laminated it with contact paper, and I just continued to use that same pattern over and over and over again. And I would just make little bags. Because when I first started sewing, I was like 20s, and I was like, yeah, I'm going to make clothes for my new daughter. And I didn't know that just because it says it's a 2T doesn't mean it's actually 2T. You have to like measure your child, because every 2T is different. We didn't know that. We just thought 2T meant 2T. So the crotch was about 3 inches high, and the legs were like 18 inches, we don't know, 18 feet long. But I did make a pocket, and I think I did a pocket on that, a couple of pockets, and I don't think I tried a zipper. I don't think I felt confident enough. But no fear, basically. In my 20s, I was just like, yeah, let's just try it. And then when it didn't work out, I was like, I'm awful. I'll never know how to sew. Well, stop it. You know, we're so ridiculous in our 20s. We just jump from high buildings and climb trees and do all these dumb things. And me being me, I set my goals very high and expect to achieve them. And then when I don't, I just think I'm a failure. And that's the most ridiculous thing. So, instead of thinking that way, I am going to say, I'm not perfect. I'm just trying, and that's all I can do. And if it doesn't work out, it's okay. I can try again, because I'm learning. And learning is good, because I am expanding my knowledge. Right? Okay, that sounds good. Yeah, I'm going to need some steam, because these folds are quite something. So I'm just going to get a basic ironing done. Then I'm going to add some steam to it, and I will be back after I get it nice and flat. But this is basically what I'm going to be doing. It's just ironing this, then adding some steam to it to get it to flatten out, and I'll be back and we'll start cutting. Okay, steam is the trick. Come on. All right, I had to let my little puppy in. So when I rest it over here, I'm turning the steam off, and then when I pick it up to put it back on my fabric, I'm turning the steam back on, and then watch what it does. It's thrilling me, because I have no life. Okay, let's just be honest. I have no life, and I just think this is thrilling, that it's just removing these seams and these wrinkles immediately. You don't have to push a steam button on this thing. It just steams. And we like that. And I kind of have it on high. I hope it's okay with this kind of thin fabric. But that's what we're doing. I think I like this little iron. I think I do. I forgot to link it in my last video. I need to go back to that video and link all of my items in case you guys are looking for a nice, cheap little iron that does wonders and doesn't take up a lot of space. If you don't have a lot of space, this is the perfect iron. Highly recommend. So far, first use. If you want to wait a while and watch me use it a few more times, I hope it's okay to put this on this side, because I don't know what I'm supposed to do. Forgot to turn my steam off. That's okay. That's okay. Everything is okay. Got a little bit here. Okay, turning off the steam. Okay, turning the steam back on. What a nice little iron. I am thoroughly enjoying myself. Who knew ironing could be so fun? Okay, great. Now I want to do the back side just to make sure that everything is nice. Got a little bit there. So turn the steam back on. It's already on. Oh no, it's off. Okay. Turn the steam back on. Get this. Alright, and once I'm done with the 2 panels, I will be back. We will pin them together and then cut them at the size that I need. Alright, so as I am ironing my last interior lining piece, I'm wondering if any of you guys wash your fabric before you do anything, or do you just go right in, iron, and start sewing? Because I was like, if I were to wash this, I certainly wouldn't want to run the washer for, 4 pieces of fabric, so I could hand wash it. But it's not 1865, so I'm just thinking, what do you do? What would you do? WWYD. I'm not. So we don't know if it's going to shrink if someone washes it. We don't know. I might have to keep it for myself and let it be the tester, or I could give it to my niece. She would probably enjoy it. Whatever. I have found that this fabric does not go down as easily as the printed fabric. This seems to be a little bit thinner and a little bit more stubborn. And I've also found that this iron, you can 2 normal panels you can do with the steam. On this, I'm getting about 1 panel per. You can hear there's no. Oh, I've got it off. Never mind. Never mind. Still might not be any. Yeah, there's a little. So I don't know. I just wanted to get on here real quick while I'm taking forever to do these. This last one that just is the worst, trying to get these things out. So I'm just going over it with a pretty heavy hand with the steam on one side, and then I'm flipping it over and ironing it on the other side, and then I'm letting it be. Whatever it does from there is what it does. So I will be back as soon as I have this last panel done, and we will go on to the next step. Alright, so I've flipped my mat over, and what I want to do is line these up the same, pin them, and then mark out 12 by 18 or whatever I had. Alright, so I wanted to bring you up a little bit. I'm going to take these 2 fabrics, and I've also decided That fell somewhere. Where did that fall to? I've also decided we're not going to iron on this because it warped it a little bit. That's okay. We have plenty of things that'll go on it and make it flatten out again. I have a little sewing bag that I wanted to use to hold little things. And that would be right here. Because I have 101 million bags and I can use these for guides on making one. But I want to get this out and I want to get my clips out. So I just put like my zipper foot in here or buttonhole foot, my pins, which I guess I'm going to need one of those, fabric scissors, my fabric cutter. So what I'm going to do is just go through. I need to make sure these go in the same direction. Lord knows. And I'm going to take my little clips and clip them together so that they don't shift. Alright, so I have this side lined up. We're going to clip there. Okay, I'm going to get this middle section lined up. And we'll clip there. Then we're going to take this end section. Get that lined up. I'm trying to be too perfectionist, and it doesn't need to be that perfectionist. Okay, let it fall. And then I see that this one is not lining up, and this one is coming further, so I need to pull it over. Isn't that fantastic? That is so fantastic. So we're going to clip that. Then we're going to come down here and line up these. In some ways this is a little more annoying than working with even paper. Trying to get it perfect. Okay, we're going to put one there. Okay. I'm going to put one there, and then we'll see if we're lining up on the top. And we may not, because, you know, it may not be cut perfect. We don't know. Okay, this is lined up perfectly. We just have to get this side to line up. And of course, it's a little bit longer on that side. So that's fine as long as we can get this stuff lined up. We're good. All right, so then I am going to take this and measure out. We want it 16 inches high by 14 inches long. Okay. So let's find our 14 inches first. Let's get the fabric on. a straight line. Okay. And then, actually I could probably just use that, but 14 inches long. That's what I'm going to do. Use the lines in this. Why not? Okay. So 14 inches long would be right here. I'm going to double check. Because look at that, right on it. Okay, we like that. Am I a little bit much on it? I am. Is this off? It should be. I'm going to unplug it just to make sure because it still feels warm. Alright, so then 14, we're going to go here. We're going to line this up here. I'm going to bring this down. Because I would like for this. I know y'all. It's ridiculous, I know. I just want to see, okay. Yes. Okay. Real OCD about it. So now we have to unlock it. Hold this super tight. And just run this right along the side of that. Oh, let's do it again. Okay, I did it. I did it. As a big girl. Okay, yay. Alright, and then that is now 14. And then we want to cut it 16. Right? Yes. So, we're going to take this and line this up on the 16. And we're going to cut that bad boy right there. Oh! And she moved on me. Okay. Not a perfect cut, but good enough. Nobody will know. Everything is fine. Okay? Okay. So that's the size of my tote. Very cute, very cute. Alright, so then I am going to take the Pellon and cut two 14 by 16 of that. And I have the 808 Pellon, which is good for when you want to quilt items because it's thicker. So that's what I got. Let's see what it says. Okay, place shiny fusible side against wrong side of fabric. Turn on iron to wool or steam setting with steam. Cover with a damp press cloth. Press down firmly in place for approximately 8 to 10 seconds. Lift and repeat. Okay, great. So, 16 by 14, we need to get there first. What's the height of this? About 15, so we'll do 16 long twice. Okay. And then one more. 16 long. We hear it, baby. You're okay. It may be a little bit longer than my fabric, which is okay, because I can trim it. I just want to make sure I'm covering my fabric. Obsessively lining it up, okay? Just make sure you are aware of what I'm doing. Centimeters probably aren't that big of a deal if we're a few centimeters off. Maybe they are. We don't know. All right, now I'm going to cut it 14 so that it's about an inch off of this side. Lining it up on the left side. Putting some weights down on it so we can, oops, what am I doing? Shifting it. Okay. We're just going to do this one at 14. So we're going to go right here. Okay. Shifted. Everything's okay. Okay, so we have one of those, and then 14 on this one. I got this ruler from Hobby Lobby when Fiskars was like on sale for 40–50% off. I don't know. I said, well, let's just grab one of those. And I've just been doing that. I've just been picking up little fabrics and things that I needed to start sewing as I could, you know, as I could pick them up. And then I just said, when I have all my stuff together and I have my life together, we're going to start doing a little sewing. So, no pun intended, we're going to take this fabric, and it said to put the shiny side up on the fabric backing, which is fantastic. So, obsessively going to line these up because it's me. This is what I do. Oh no, that's never gonna do. That's an inch short. Well, how'd I do that? Did I grab the right one? Did I do it the wrong way? No. What are we doing? What are we doing? What's happening? Why did that one not fit? Apparently I didn't do something right on that one, and it's okay. This one's just a tad bit short as well. Not sure why, but it's going to be okay because I have a seam allowance, right? Is that what we say? It's okay? Because we're going to have a seam allowance? So what we say? We do not know. I'm just going to go with it. See what happens. This is how we learn. Well, this is how I learn. I just try and see what happens. That's how I learn. So, I want to get this lined up. Pin that. Okay. Okay, pin there. I'm all up in the camera, I know. Y'all enjoy looking at my arm for just a moment. Okay, thank you. Alright. Then I'm going to pin it on this side. Okay. I'm not really sure why the size difference. If maybe I was pulling on the pellon and it looked larger. We don't know. But we're going to do that. Okay. All right. I am going to go attempt to steam iron this on. And we'll come back and have a look at it. Alright, so I have added steam to my iron, turned it back on. I went downstairs, hence I'm out of breath, and got just one of my thin kitchen towels and dampened it. And now I need to clear all things that can melt off of the working surface, and I'm going to move this up like this so I can see where these clamps are so that I don't iron those by mistake. Those edges, I guess, will get the last of it. And this is how I'm doing it. I don't know how else we're supposed to do it, but you know, just making my own thing up. So I'm going to do this part first, right? And it says turn on the steam, lay it down, press firmly for 8 to 10 seconds. 2, 3. Alright, so I had this on and I was doing it on this side, thinking, you know, if you came from the back it would melt, and that wasn't working. So then I tried it on this side and that wasn't working. So I had to ditch this and just start pressing. And then I got comfortable and I started ironing. So I've got a little crease there I can't seem to get out. But for the most part, the backing is on there. And then I turned it around. I don't know if I'm supposed to, but I just did like this over all of it because I feel like there are some places where it may not be sticking. Maybe it is. I don't know. So that piece is prepared and ready to go. Now I'm going to cut another piece of Pellon because I cut this one at 15 by 14 and we don't know why. So that one will be used for another project, and I'm going to cut another piece at, I don't know, 16 by 14? Yes, 16 by 14. Because I only cut an inch off the height, and then I cut this long side. So, I'm going to go and do that, iron this on to the back panel, and then I will be back and we will go for the next step. Alright, now that I have the Pellon ironed on to both panels, I am going to pull out the sewing machine and we are going to attempt to quilt. And all I'm going to do is take my Frixion pins and mark an X, sew along that line, move over an inch, sew along a straight line, move over an inch, just the way Crafty Crafts with Dina does it. That's the way I'm going to do it. And then once I do this way, I will go back and do this way. And I will do that on both panels. So I'll walk you through like the marking and the first sewing. I'll do the best I can to bring that to you. And then I will finish the quilting and come back and we'll go to the next step. Alright, so I have gone through with my Frixion pen and this ruler, and from this line right here, I don't know if it's going to focus, but from this line to the end, this is 1 inch. And so what I did was I went through and I would line up that 1 inch line with my original X, and then I would just do a line. And then I would go to that line and I would draw another line. So I knew that they were 1 inch apart. Okay, I got a little zealous and I thought, hey, let me see if I can sew a straight line. Well, I can't. But I also realized that I had my needle positioned like to the left or to the right, and that's why I couldn't tell where I was sewing. So I've gone ahead, and I don't know if you can tell, but I've marked both directions 1 inch lines, and I'm just going to take it through my sewing machine and just sew just like this. Okay, that, my friends, will be in the next video because this one is getting quite long and I don't want to, you know, bore anybody, especially those of you who may have already done this. This is my first time trying a quilt stitch, and we'll just see how it turns out. These are like $1.37 at Walmart, so it's not like I'm out $20 for fabric. That's why I want to buy the cheaper fabric in the beginning while I'm getting used to sewing again and figuring out my tension. I feel like these stitches are way too tight and too small. I don't know how to change the size. Is the tension the size? I need to look that up. So this will be a little bit different. I could also pull it all out and start again, which I may do. but I will decide that off camera, and I will go ahead and continue practicing. And when we come back for the next video, hopefully I'll have the quilting done, because it's going to take me another hour or two to get that done, because it's a problem. And then the next video, we will go on and sew the lining on, and then start just really putting the bag together. I want to get this time-consuming part done off camera, and then come back and let's just spend some time sewing, and let's see how I do. Alright guys, I hope that you enjoyed this video. If you did, give it a big thumbs up or hype it. If you haven't, hit subscribe, turn on your bell notifications so you're notified the next time I upload, because I'm not sure when the second part of this will come out. But I hope that you will be there. Let me know in the comments what you would like to see, and I'll see you very soon in the craft room. Bye everyone.